You spoke a little bit about your education. Can you share more about, your background? I know you did business initially, and then you did a master's in HR. How did it bring you to healthcare?
That's interesting. That's a good question. It's never really felt like a straight path, I guess, to healthcare. I've always felt, I guess, both like a draw to the people side of business, which is my connection to the to the HR world, to the organizational development field, about how people are motivated, how people communicate, how to bring out the best in people, how to support people through change. Actually, I think it was in my second year of university. I can't even remember the name of the course. It was a business undergrad degree. It was sort of a general business degree that I was pursuing. The book that was an assigned reading for this class that really sort of set all the light bulbs off in my head was a book called Getting to Yes. I don't know if you've
Yes,
ever
I know that
read
one.
that book. It's
Right.
one of the most popular
Hmm.
business books in sort of the HROD field, from the Harvard negotiation
Hmm.
project, right? And
Hmm.
it was a course on, I think the subtitle of Getting to Yes was Negotiating Agreement Without Giving In. Kind of a straightforward idea about supporting people through negotiation, but some of the principles from that book were so compelling to me about separating the people from the problem. It's really sort of fundamental idea that if we're not mindful about human dynamics at work, that we are a victim to them, right?
Right.
If we allow, the idea of people's own personal experience or emotions or communication style to become intertwined with the content of the problems that we're trying to solve, we're going to have a really, really hard time. I remember, I don't know, I must have been 19 or 20 years old, some naive person who was focused on all sorts of things beyond school. But I remember these light bulbs going off for me as thinking like, oh my gosh, these are such important ideas to me, and ones that I felt I could build a career around. Even at the time, I felt clear of that insight, like the ideas of focusing on interests, not positions. That was another idea from that book. The idea of like, what is motivating someone to take the position that they've taken in an argument or a debate or a negotiation. Some of those ideas, I think, have been the threads that have stitched together different parts of my career.
It reminds me of we say coach the person, not the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And negotiation is such a key skill, not only for leadership, you need it in all areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, negotiation has, I think, historically, the idea of it has taken on some kind of adversarial idea, but I've certainly not taken an adversarial approach to just about anything that I've done. You talked earlier about the idea of the human part of what we do, and sort of this acknowledgement that on the other side of any problem, business, organization, team, it's a collection of people that are needing something, worried about something, driven by something.
Right.
And if we can connect with them in that way, based on the things that are important to them, based on who they are, where they come from, what they want, what they care about, what worries them, what scares them, what excites them. If we can connect with people in that way, then there's just feels like infinite options for how we could get things done.
Right. Yeah. And you probably heard of this book, Never Split the Difference.
Yeah. I've not read it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great book. Zealand, he talks about how he would negotiate with, ransom holders, and how they couldn't really split it. So, you had to he had to get the whole person. Like there's no way, you could get.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of, I used to use this, tell this story all the time. I haven't thought about it in years. I don't know if it was actually in the book Getting to Yes, or it was part of the one of the courses I took on alternative dispute resolution. The idea as a parent of two kids fighting over the last orange in the fridge. Right? One of them is saying, I need the orange, and the other one saying, I need the orange. And so, like, you're a parent, what's the logical thing that a parent does is they just take out the knife, there's one orange, they cut that orange in half and give it half the orange to one kid and half the orange to the other kid. And then, you watch what happens to the kids after the first one peels the orange and uses the peel to bake cookies as part of an ingredient and throws out the inside of the orange. And the other kid squeezes the orange to get the juice out of the inside and throws out the peel. And you realize at that point, if we just asked the kids what they wanted the orange for, they would have had double the cookies and double the juice, right?
That's such a great example.
And it stuck with me so clearly about this idea that it's of course exactly connected to what you said, never split the difference. I mean, all that it takes is a little bit of curiosity. Like, tell me what's important to you here. What are you trying to accomplish? What would you like to get out of this at the end of the day? Questions like that, they work for kids fighting over oranges, but they also work for executives in meetings.
It's all the same principles. Parenting offers such great lessons for leadership.
It does,